Thanks, guys. Welcome into our pregame show. I'm Mary Kate Herian here with Zach Mackey.
Back at it again.
Zach, let's start it off. Thoughts on last week's game against Iowa State?
Well, right away, it was a fun one to watch if you were a fan. Lots of points scored. Both of them were able to go back and forth, and you saw the offense step up. They had a 2 minutes left of the game. They had to score, and they were able to find the end zone.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I thought Stanley played very solid and just keeps getting better each week. And Stanley has 8 touchdown passes in his first 2 career starts, which is more than any other quarterback in the Ferentz era. He is leading the Big Ten in touchdown passes and ranks 3rd nationally. So I'm very proud of him. He got Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week as well.
Yeah, the numbers he's putting up are right up there with Chuck Long. His first couple of seasons, we all know Chuck Long will go down in history as one of the great Iowa quarterbacks. So he's done really well as just a sophomore and a bright future for sure.
I want to talk about Wadley next. I mean, he was lights out on Saturday with 260 all-purpose yards, and I think just everyone, including himself, is happy to see that, but just expects him to play that way. And even though it isn't something new for Wadley and his team, his head coach and his teammates are still just amazed by what he can do.
You know, Akram does some stuff with the ball in his hands that none of us can coach. We'd love to, but you can't coach or give that to a guy. Akram likes playing. Like, you know, that was a full day's work he got in the other day, probably more than he needed, but we needed him. You know, so, and that last touchdown he scored, I mean, that was a lot of individual effort.
Yeah, you keep blocking because you never know what's going to happen to him. He can go from one side of the field to the other in about 0.2, it feels like, and he can make moves. He can either juke you or run you over, and that's fun as an offensive lineman to see when you do your job. And you know, we got JB too, who's back there, who can do the same thing, and it's really fun blocking because you know if you do your job and your buddies are doing their job, then something good's going to happen. I mean, you guys saw Saturday and some of the moves he's doing, putting people on roller skates. He's a heck of a player.
Right now, Wadley ranks 15th in career rushing yards, and fun fact, something to look forward to on Saturday, he is just 3 yards shy of becoming the 15th player in program history to rush for 2,000 career yards. So, Zach, we may get to witness a little history tomorrow.
I got a feeling he's going to get those 3 yards most likely. He's just so fun to watch. He's got the ability to make guys miss. If you got out there with him, Mary Kate, I think he could take you.
I don't know. I'm pretty quick on defense. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, it also got announced on Tuesday that offensive lineman Ike Butker will be out for 5 to 6 months with a torn Achilles.
I just feel bad for Ike because, you know, not only is he a good football player, he's a great kid, and he's a senior, you know, and so now he's looking at something he was really looking forward to, and you know, it's a tough deal, you know, we'll move on, we'll live on. We have to. We got no choice. That's the way it works. But you just worry about him. It's tough on him, but you know he'll get back up on his feet and he'll be a good leader, you know, in his own way.
We've been practicing all camp. You know, coach has been throwing different guys in different positions, different rotations, and you know it sucks what happened to Ike. It breaks your heart, you know, senior year, and that's hard. But you know it's next man in, and we've been practicing that all year, and you know we're ready.
So just extremely heartbreaking for Ike, and you know he's a senior and he's a leader. So this is a big loss for the team. We did hear Boone say that the coaches do a great job of giving them exposure at all positions. But I mean, how much is this going to affect the O-line and just the offense tomorrow?
Well, you started the first season with Boone Myers out the very first game. Then you had Daniels out right there in the middle.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been thrown up. They've been moved around a little bit already. So I don't see it maybe affecting them that much. Obviously, it's a loss whenever you lose a senior like that who's played in so many games, but they've been able to adapt and move around so well.
Now, a little bit lighter subject. The defensive line has more interceptions than our backs do, and trust me, these guys all know it.
Yeah, I actually teased our linebackers on Sunday because they come out after every practice. They're out there catching balls. I don't know why. They're all frustrated skill guys from high school, right? So they're out there catching balls. So I asked the guys on Sunday how many. Asked the D lineman, how many balls do you guys catch like during practice on a typical day? The answer is that, right? How many picks they got? They got 2 linebackers are there. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 10 games. But right now it's 2-0.
It's you know, we practice catching after practice, you know, pretty much every day, and they don't practice at all, and they got more picks than all of us. So we haven't really made it a competition, but I mean, we know they're winning, so it's kind of like, dang, we gotta pick it up because they're gonna talk trash to us.
So the line is winning 2-1 right now, and Josh Jackson, who you all just saw, having that 1 interception for the secondary.
Yeah, those. I mean, how big of an interception was Parker Hesse though last week?
Huge. Yeah, no, it definitely, and he looked like he was just there. He'd like looked down and it was in
Came
his
at the
hands.
right time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, Zach's favorite time. I'm 1-1 now for predictions. But let me guess, Zach, are you gonna take Iowa for the third time now?
No, you're 1-1. I'm 2-0 so
Yeah.
far, undefeated. Haven't
Oh.
been beaten. I'm going to go with Iowa over the Mean Green.
Shocker.
Mean Green have been able to put up a lot of all-purpose yards. They're averaging close to 600 right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the Iowa defense is going to be able to contain them.
So I'm going to take Iowa again.
Wow.
I know, second time. But that North Texas quarterback threw for 424 yards and 3 touchdowns in their loss to SMU. So, and had a 72-yard bomb to a former, my favorite team, Notre Dame wide
gosh.
receiver. But so I think it's a big game for the defense, but it's a big game for the offense as well. But I do have Iowa in it. And I think Stanley was in command last weekend, so I'm excited to see him get out there and do that again. But unfortunately, that's it for me and Zach. But tune in every Friday morning for our weekly pregame show.
And come back on Mondays for highlights from the game. Guys, back over to you.